Hello, everyone. Wonderful to be here. Just want to make sure I can be heard. Let me change my mic for one moment. Let's see. Okay. Still not seeing if that's coming through, but I hope it is. Welcome. Welcome to Gentle Yoga Unwind. My name is Kristin O'Donnell, and I'm excited to be here. This is Marshmallow, who's crossing through the screen. We're excited to be here with you today. Hands to Heart Center Yoga for the People is a nonprofit organization that shares the healing practice of yoga with people affected by addiction, poverty, and trauma in the greater Boston area. And Hands to Heart Center would like to thank the Boston Public Library for partnering with us on this virtual project. It's been wonderful to be doing this class and wonderful to continue it throughout this time. To get started, if you have 2 blocks or 2 books, feel free to reach for those to have whenever you need. I'll be giving adjustments for people without any props. So feel free to use whatever you have. Also, if you have a blanket or a cushion or a couple cushions, feel free to reach for those as well if you want a more supportive rest at the end of class. To start, maybe finding a seated or lying down shape and settling into that shape. If you do have any props, maybe bringing a blanket or a block or book underneath your hips to raise your hips slightly above your knees. If you're in seated, or if you're lying down, maybe using any blankets or cushion to help support you. And whenever you settle into the shape that you chose, feel free to close your eyes or keep a soft gaze in front of you. Taking a few moments to check in with your body and be aware of what might be coming up for you this afternoon. Noticing your breath, inhales and exhales, noticing how fast or slow your breathing might be this afternoon. And our breath is always there. And it's always moving. And in turn, our body is moving with our breath as well. So if you'd like, you can start to notice if your body is moving as you're breathing in your seated or lying down shape. Maybe noticing if your chest rises and falls, maybe your abdomen expands and contracts. Maybe your legs or arms move a little bit with each inhale and exhale. Taking a few moments to notice what might be coming up for you this afternoon. And it might be different from earlier in the day, it might be different from yesterday as well. Taking a moment to notice how your body is resting. Do you feel any aches or pains or sensations in your body? Maybe you don't at all. Taking a moment to check in and notice. And allowing yourself to let go of any judgment you might have, to let go of the need to change the way you're showing up in this moment, and to allow yourself to be with love, with understanding, with acceptance, for whatever comes through for you in today's class. Now, this practice is yours and yours alone. So please feel free to move in any way that you'd like in your body, whether it's what I'm doing or maybe it's something completely different. Please listen to your body, and if anything hurts, please immediately stop doing that shape. Nothing should hurt in yoga. So if it does hurt, please find something else that doesn't hurt for yourself. This is a gentle class, but please Feel free to notice what comes up in your body and what feels right, what feels like it's too much. So taking another moment whenever you're ready to check in with yourself, check in with your breath and your body. And if you're lying down, maybe slowly starting to make your way to seated. We'll do a little bit of breath work this morning. Just a very short breath exercise. So whenever you're ready, finding a seated shape if you weren't already there. And this breath is called bee humming breath. There's a few choices for this breath. The breath itself, the mouth is closed, inhaling through the nose, and then exhaling on the exhale, humming or saying the letter M. So the breath might sound like that. You can do the breath in seated, like I just did. If you'd like to bring your hand to your ears, you can do the breath with your hands on your ears as well. So feel free to choose whatever feels right in your body. Bringing your hands to your ears will cause your face and head to vibrate a little bit with that sound at the end. So feel free to choose what feels right for you. And then whenever you're ready, doing 3 of those humming bee breaths whenever you're ready. Taking your time, inhaling through your nose and exhaling, humming out your mouth. Doing 2 more in your own time. Inhale and exhale, humming. And whenever you're ready, one last time, inhaling through your nose and exhaling, humming. Whenever you're ready, letting that go, breathing naturally once again, finding your regular breath. And then we'll start to add some movement in the body whenever you're ready. So maybe inhaling, lifting your head and chest, looking up towards the ceiling. Maybe on your exhaling, curving your lower back and bringing your head to look down towards the floor. Moving your spine up and down in your own time. Maybe head and chest look up. And then whenever you're ready, maybe looking down to the floor, curving your lower back. Choosing to move from one shape to the other if you'd like. Maybe choosing to pause in one shape for a moment or two before moving to the next shape. Allowing yourself to find stillness or movement wherever you might like. Taking another moment or two in one or both of these shapes. And then whenever you're ready, starting to make your way back to center. If you'd like, maybe starting to move your head. You might move one ear to one shoulder, maybe the other one to the other shoulder. Maybe adding half head circles into your movements. Maybe choosing to bring your head all the way around. You can even move your head from side to side or up and down, really finding any movement or stillness you might like in your head and neck. You can experiment with any or all choices. Maybe if you chose circles, doing a few in both directions. And continuing for another moment or two, finding whatever head and neck movements you might like. And in your own time, maybe coming back to center. Maybe starting to bring your right ear to your right shoulder as close as you can get it comfortably. And maybe bringing your right hand to rest on your right head, on your head. If you'd like, you can bring your left hand to rest on the floor, or if it doesn't reach, you can let it rest wherever feels right in your body. Pausing in this shape, maybe putting some pressure in your hand as it rests on top of your head. letting your neck stretch a little bit more. And whenever you're ready, slowly releasing your right hand and in your own time coming back to center. And whenever you're ready, coming to the other side. So maybe bringing the left ear to the left shoulder. Maybe reaching the right hand or the left hand. My right and left are a little mixed up today. Your left hand to rest on your head. And then possibly walking your right hand out to the right side or letting it rest gently on your lap or anywhere else. Putting a little bit of pressure in your left hand on your head. Letting that neck stretch a little bit more. And then whenever you're ready, slowly lifting your left hand off your head and slowly coming back to center. Now, if you'd like to add a few more head movements, feel free to do so. You can work that out a little bit if you noticed some tightness when doing that shape. And finding your way back to center whenever you're ready. Moving into an arm movement. So we'll bring the arms, if you'd like, one arm on top of the other, opposite hand reaching your opposite shoulder. This is kind of giving yourself a big hug. So you can choose to stay here. Another choice might be to bring your hands in what's called eagle arms. What that is might be to bring one hand under the other. We'll start with the right hand under the left, bending the elbows and bringing the palms to touch. And fingers can touch one palm. Both hands don't have to be completely resting on each other. This might feel like too much in your shoulders, and feel free to come to that big hug with the right arm underneath if that feels better in your body, if that feels more accessible to you. Whenever you're ready, lifting your head and chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe you lift your arms along with your head and chest. And then in your own time, maybe lowering your arms and lowering your head to look down towards the floor. You can curve your lower back if you'd like. So similar to those cat-cows that we did earlier, the movement we did in seated, bringing the arms with your head and chest as you look up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor. Whether you are giving yourself a big hug or in eagle arms, finding what movement or stillness works for you in this shape. Whenever you're ready, maybe doing one more in both directions before coming back to center and slowly bringing your arms down, maybe shaking your arms out by your sides. Moving in that shape on the other side. So if you did the hug, bringing the left arm under the right this time, holding your opposite shoulder. And if you'd like to move into the eagle arm, bringing the left arm under the right, bending your elbows and bringing your palms towards each other. Finding whichever variation feels right for you, bringing your head and chest and arms up towards the ceiling in your own time. And whenever you're ready, maybe lowering your arms down, curving your lower back, and maybe bringing your head down towards the floor. Finding whichever variation for your arms feels best for you, and allowing yourself to move at your own pace, maybe pausing at any point in time during this shape. Experimenting here for another moment or two. And whenever you're ready, starting to come back to center in your own time, maybe releasing each arm, maybe shaking your arms out a little bit. And whenever you're ready, maybe bringing your right hand down to the floor, lifting your left hand overhead for a side stretch. You might pause on this side for a moment or two. And in your own time, coming back to center and moving over to the left side. Left hand comes down to the floor. Right arm comes up overhead. Pausing here for a moment or two. And we'll do that 2 more times on either side, on both sides. Moving over the right side whenever you're ready. Taking a pause or 2 and then moving over to the left side. Pause for a moment or 2, 1 more time on both sides, moving over to the right. And whenever you're ready, moving over to the left. Coming back to center whenever you're ready. Finding your way to center, and if you'd like, starting to extend your legs out in front of your body. If you are seated on a blanket or cushion, feel free to move it aside if you'd like. And bringing yourself to staff, flexing your feet and keeping your head and spine tall, lifting up towards the ceiling. Pausing in this shape for a moment or two. And whenever you're ready, maybe bending your right foot, bringing your right foot to rest on the ground, reaching your left arm to hold your right leg where it is, and moving into a twist on the right side. Your right hand reaches behind you, resting on the floor, and then your upper body moves over to your right side, twisting only as far as feels right for you. Inhaling, maybe lengthening your spine, and maybe on each exhale, twisting a little bit more. You can find any length here if you'd like. You can pause in stillness as well. Taking another moment or two on this side of the stretch, and whenever you're ready, finding your way back to center. Extending your right leg, and in time, bending your left leg, bringing your left foot to the floor. Right arm wraps around your left leg, left hand reaches behind your back, moving your upper body to the left in a twist to the left side. If you'd like, maybe inhaling and lengthening your spine, and maybe on each exhale, twisting a little bit more into the shape. Or you can find stillness in this shape as well, allowing yourself to find subtle movements or stillness. And in your own time, coming back to center and maybe bringing both legs out in front of your body. In your own time, maybe extending your legs wide. So coming into a wide-legged stance and possibly walking your hands forward into a forward fold. One choice might be to walk your hands forward and pause. Another choice might be to take turns walking your hands forward, and whenever you're ready, walking your hands back to seated. Or if you'd like to stay seated in this shape, you can do so as well. Allowing yourself to find whatever feels right in your body. Taking another moment or two to experiment with any movement or stillness you might like in this shape. And whenever you're ready in your own time, starting to come back to seated. Maybe starting to bend your left leg, if you'd like, bringing it to rest against your right leg, and possibly bringing your upper body to face your right leg. If you'd like, inhaling, arms come up overhead, maybe on your exhale, folding over your right leg. Hands might fall on your upper leg, maybe they fall on your lower leg, maybe you're able to reach your toes. Finding whatever stretch you might like or need this afternoon. And finding that stillness if you'd like. If you want, you can also choose to add movement, maybe walking your hands up and down your leg a few times. And you can always stay seated as well. Allowing yourself to experiment with the movement and stillness in whatever way works in your body. Taking another moment or two in this shape. Finding movement or stillness. And maybe noticing how your right leg feels in this shape. If there's any sensations that are coming up for you as you're stretching in this shape. Whenever you're ready, finding your way back to seated. And maybe bringing your left hand to rest behind your back. Might start to point your right toes and maybe lift the hips and the right arm up in your own time, pressing into your left hand and then sitting back down whenever you're ready. Extending your left leg if you'd like and moving to the other side in your own time, maybe bending the right leg, letting it press against your left leg. Upper body faces your left leg, and in your own time, maybe inhaling, reaching your arms up overhead, maybe exhaling and folding forward, letting your hands fall anywhere on your upper or lower leg. Maybe you can reach your toes, finding what feels and works well for you in your body. Choosing to be still if you'd like, but also you can experiment with adding movement. So maybe you choose to walk your hands forward and back to seated. Maybe you choose to stay in seated. Or you might choose to walk your hands forward and maybe pause there. Letting yourself find what works the best for you, what you want to work with today. And maybe noticing any sensations in your left leg as you do the shape on this side. Taking another moment or two here in your own time. And whenever you're ready, finding your way back to seated. Now, as we did on the other side, maybe reaching the right hand to press into the mat behind you. And then if you'd like, lifting your hips and your left arm up towards the ceiling, and in your own time, sitting back down to the floor. Extending both legs out in front of you and maybe moving your legs back to meet each other in front of your body. If you'd like, maybe inhaling, reaching your arms up overhead, and maybe on your exhale, folding your hands over both of your legs. Maybe you can reach your upper legs, your lower legs, your toes, allowing yourself to pause if you'd like, or maybe choosing to add movement, walking your hands up and down your legs a few times. Finding what feels right in your body in this moment. And then whenever you're ready, finding your way back to seated in your own time. If you'd like, maybe starting to make your way to your hands and knees. If you have props and would like to give your knees a little extra cushioning, feel free to bring a blanket or a cushion to your mat to support your knees. Finding your way to your hands and knees whenever you're ready. Taking a moment to get there in your own time. And if you'd like, maybe making sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Moving into those cat-cow movements on your hands and knees. So maybe bringing your head and chest to look up. You might notice a curve in your lower back in this shape. And in your own time, maybe lowering your head down and curving your lower back up towards the ceiling. Finding any movement or stillness that you might like. Maybe choosing to breathe with the movement. So if you'd like, you can choose to inhale, bringing your head and chest up. Maybe on your exhale, lowering your head down and curving your lower back up towards the ceiling. Finding whatever you might like in this shape. You can choose to pause in one shape or the other. You can choose to make this a continuous movement from one shape to the other. In your own time, maybe finding your way back to neutral whenever you're ready. And possibly moving into a side stretch. So if you'd like, maybe bringing your gaze around your left shoulder to your left foot. In your own time, coming through center, and then bringing your gaze around your right shoulder at your right foot. Moving from side to side in your own time. You might notice that maybe your hips move with this shape, with this movement as well. Finding the same amount of movement on one side as the other. And bringing yourself back to center in your own time. Maybe adding some movement with your hips from side to side. You might choose to move both hips from side to side. Maybe this is a smaller movement, or maybe you're able to bring your hips in a circle. Moving them in a big or a small circle, finding whatever movement is calling to you today. And whenever you're ready, if you chose circles, maybe reversing those circles, going the opposite way. Maybe your hips are moving from side to side and not in circles, allowing yourself to do whatever you would like. And in your own time, coming back to center, back to our table where our hands and knees are on the mat. Next, maybe moving one shoulder forward, and then that same shoulder back while the other shoulder comes forward. So almost as if the shoulders are trying to touch each other, but as they come closer, the other shoulder's moving away. Kind of like if they were both magnets, the opposite side of a magnet that pushes away from the other one. Allowing your upper body to move, allowing your shoulders to move a little bit from side to side in the shape. Coming back to center whenever you're ready. And then if your wrists are starting to bother you, feel free to maybe sit back and bring your hands interlaced, maybe moving them in a figure 8 movement. You can move your wrists in circles as well. Sometimes when we're in that shape for too long, our wrists start to complain about being in that one shape for too long. So feel free to allow some stretching of the wrists, some movement of your wrists, and maybe finding your way back to your table in your own time. Whenever you're ready, maybe bringing your right foot behind you. If you'd like, you can press the right toes into the mat to start. Maybe giving yourself a gentle rock forward and back. And in your own time, maybe coming back to center. If you'd like, you can start to lift your right leg up off the floor, maybe pausing in this shape. If it's available to you and you would like, you can start to extend your left arm out in front. Now making sure your core is engaged so that you can hold your balance in this shape. Keeping your head in line with the rest of your spine and taking a moment or two to pause with your arm extended or not, finding whichever variation feels right in your body. And in your own time, lowering your leg down and maybe your arm down if you extended that as well. Moving into the other side, extending your left foot, maybe pressing your left toes into the floor to start. Possibly gently rocking forward and back. Noticing any sensations in your left leg and foot in this shape. And whenever you're ready, finding your way to stillness, maybe lifting the left leg hip height. Maybe pausing in this shape for a few breaths if you would like, and if it's available to you, you can start to extend your right arm out in front. I'm running out of room here, so you might see I'm hitting the door a little bit, but feel free to extend as much as you can. Arm can be extended with the leg or the leg by itself. And then in your own time, lowering the leg down, maybe the arm if you extended that as well. If your wrists need a little bit of movement, a little bit of love, feel free to give that movement to them, moving them in circles if you'd like. Flexing them and moving them back and forth, finding whatever movement feels right for you. And coming back to that shape one more time. This time, maybe extending your right leg, possibly bringing it hip height. And if you'd like, adding some movement. Maybe bringing the right knee into your chest, maybe head looks down towards your knee. And maybe extending the right leg out away from you, maybe your head looks in front of you. Option to continue this movement with the leg by itself. If you would like to add the left arm, you might extend the arm with the leg and then bending the elbow as the knee bends, reaching the elbow towards the knee. Inhale, extend. Maybe if you'd like to add the breath, maybe exhale, bend. Elbow towards the knee. If you're using your hand your arm and leg. Finding whichever variation feels right in your body. And whenever you're ready, extending one more time and letting that go. Finding your way to the other side in your own time. So maybe extending your left leg, possibly bringing it hip height. And in your own time, bending your left knee in towards your chest, head looks down towards your knee, and extending your leg out behind you, head looks in front of you. If you're adding the arm, extending the right arm with the left leg, and then bending your elbow, bringing it towards your knee. Finding the breath, if you'd like, you can inhale on the extension of the leg and the arm if you're moving that as well. And exhale on bending in towards the chest. Whenever you're ready, extending one last time and slowly bringing the arm and leg or the leg by itself back to the floor. Finding your way to your child shape. So maybe keeping your knees together, slowly sitting your hips back towards your feet. Or if you'd like, you can choose to widen your knees and slowly start to bring your hips back towards your feet. Maybe extending your arms out in front. Your head might make its way to the block or a book or to the floor. Finding a few moments to rest in this shape if you'd like. Another choice might be to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, maybe with tented fingers, taking a moment or two in this space. And whenever you're ready, walking your hands through center and maybe walking them over to the left side of your mat. Maybe hands are tented or not. After a moment or two, coming back to center and finding your way back to your table shape. Moving into your downward dog, possibly keeping your hands where they are, maybe bringing your hands slightly forward, and then pressing your toes into the mat, straightening your knees, bringing your hips up towards the ceiling, finding your downward dog in your own time. One choice might be to add some movement. Maybe you choose to bend and straighten your knees a few times, almost as if you're walking in place. Finding any movement you might like in this shape. Another choice might be to move your hips from side to side, maybe bending and straightening your knees a few times. Finding any movement or stillness that you might like. And in your own time, maybe coming to stillness if you're not already there. Possibly bending your knees and slowly walking your feet towards your hands, finding your forward fold. One choice might be to let your arms hang here. You might choose to bring your opposite hand to opposite elbow. Maybe choosing to rock from side to side. If you'd like, you can let your head hang. Maybe shaking your head yes and no a few times. Finding whatever movement or stillness you might like in this shape. In your own time, whenever you're ready. Maybe slowly starting to bring your arms down, and in your own time, slowly starting to make your way to standing. Bringing your head up last. And if you have a blanket or cushion on your mat, maybe moving it aside for the standing portion of class. Finding your way to stand on your mat where your hips might be, your feet might be hip width apart, which might also be two fists if you don't know how thick that might be, how wide that might be. Bringing your feet to the floor, and if you'd like, maybe starting to rock from the balls of your feet back to your heels. Maybe noticing how your balance is, if you're falling over like I almost just did, Or maybe your balance feels okay today. And once again, without judgment, allowing yourself to notice what's showing up for you this afternoon. It may be completely different from this morning or yesterday, 3 days ago. Finding your way to stillness, maybe making these movements smaller and smaller before coming back to standing in your own time. Whenever you're ready, finding your way to stillness in your standing shape. And if you'd like, maybe imagining a string pulling your head up towards the ceiling. Head and spine moving up away from your legs. So you almost might imagine your feet grounding into the floor and your head and spine pulling itself up so that both ends of your body are stretching at the same time. If you'd like, bringing your arms up overhead, maybe interlacing your hands. If you'd like, you can keep the index finger and thumb reaching out away from you. Inhale, lengthen, find that length a little bit more, and then maybe on your exhale, moving over to your right side. You can choose to find the breath with the movement here, maybe inhale back to center, maybe exhale over to the left side, or you can choose to move without your breath, finding what works in your body. We'll do this 2 more times on either side, on both sides, coming back to the right side, to center, pausing for as long as you might like. Maybe there is no pause for you. And then one last time, going over to your right side, and then back over to your left side. Once you're back at center, maybe letting go of your hands, still reaching your arms up overhead. If you'd like, possibly looking up towards the ceiling, head looks up. Bringing your head back to center and maybe twisting over to your right side. You might reach your left hand in front of you, right hand behind you. So from the side, you might look like this. Maybe your gaze is at your right side. Inhale back to center. And exhale. This time the right arm comes forward, left arm reaching behind you. Gaze might be at your left side now. Let's do this a few more times on both sides. Reaching up back to center, moving over to the right side, left arm reaches forward. Back to center, over to the left side, right arm reaches forward. And we'll do that once more on both sides. Taking your time, finding any movement or stillness you might like. Over to the right and over to the left. Coming back to center whenever you're ready. Keeping your arms overhead if you'd like, and maybe stepping your right foot forward and left foot back behind you. If you'd like, you can bring your arms down, finding any stillness wherever you'd like your arms. Making sure, if you'd like, that your left leg, the foot is pointing at a 45-degree angle towards the front of your mat, and your right knee is bent. Making sure your right knee is in line with your ankle. You can possibly hurt yourself if your knee is past your ankle. So really keeping that in line with your ankle. Maybe bringing both hands to your hips if you'd like, to make sure that both of your hips are facing the front of your mat. Finding your warrior 1 in this shape. Now, if you'd like, if your hands aren't raised up above your head, feel free to raise them up above your head. Maybe resting your shoulders, letting go of any tension in your body. Gaze is in front of you. Taking another moment or 2 in this shape. And whenever you're ready, maybe moving into your warrior 2. So maybe your right arm comes forward, your left arm might reach behind you, and you might start to walk your left foot out a little wider if you'd like. The left foot ends up being parallel to the back of your mat. Your upper body sort of at an angle in this shape. Gaze ends up on your right hand. Once again, relaxing your upper body, letting yourself let go of any tension you might be holding. Keeping your front knee bent, if you'd like. Taking another pause or two in this shape, and if you'd like to add movement, you might gently bring your left hand to your back leg. Right arm might come up overhead. Maybe pausing in this shape, maybe starting to move forward. You might choose to bring your right forearm to your upper right leg. Maybe your left arm comes up overhead. You might choose to move back and forth in your own time. Maybe you choose to be still in one of these shapes or the other. You might also choose to find your way back to that warrior two shape. Allowing yourself to find any stillness or movement. Experimenting with what that might look like for you. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, finding your way back to your warrior two. This time, straightening your front leg, maybe hinging your upper body and right arm forward. And when you can't go any further, lowering down towards the floor. You might bring your right hand to gently rest on your right leg, or if you do have a blocker book, bringing your right hand to rest on that in front of your right leg. You might choose to keep your core engaged so that there's minimal weight in your right hand, and maybe your left arm reaches up overhead. Gaze might be up towards the ceiling or down towards the floor. Finding what feels right for you, taking a few moments in this shape. Noticing your breath if you like. And whenever you're ready, slowly bringing yourself back to standing. Maybe lowering your hands down, and in your own time, slowly walking your feet back to your mountain shape with your feet hip width apart, finding the front of your mat, and moving into your tree shape whenever you're ready. If you'd like, bringing all your weight to your right leg, maybe hands come to the hips to start, or you might bring your palms to your chest. And maybe bringing your left heel to rest against your right ankle. Maybe your left toes stay on the ground, and you might choose to stay in this form of our shape tree. Or you might choose to bring your left foot to rest anywhere on your right leg except your knee joint. So maybe it's underneath your knee, maybe it's above your knee, but keeping that left foot off of your knee, if at all possible, to keep your knee safe. And from here, if you are able to find balance, maybe extending your arms up overhead. What can help find balance is if you find a spot in front of you that's not moving to focus your gaze on, that can help to keep you in this balancing shape. Taking another breath or two in your tree shape. And then whenever you're ready, letting that go. Maybe shaking arms and legs out in your own time. Finding your way to the front of your mat if you're not already there. And bringing your right foot back behind you. Maybe your right toes face at a 45-degree angle towards the front of your mat. And maybe keeping your left knee bent. Finding our warrior one. So maybe bringing your hands to your hips, bringing your hips to face the front of your mat. And then if you'd like, possibly bringing your arms up overhead. Letting go of any tension in this shape. Noticing your body in your warrior one, keeping your knee gently bent in this shape. Making sure your knee doesn't go past your ankle. And finding any stretch you can feel in this shape. How does this shape feel in your body? Whenever you're ready, maybe finding your warrior two, you might bring your left arm forward, right arm behind you. Maybe walking your right foot back behind you a little bit more if you'd like. Keeping the feet parallel to the back of your mat. Gaze might be on your left hand. Again, letting go of any tension in your shoulders, your upper back. Noticing how this shape feels in your body. In your own time, if you'd like, maybe adding some movement. You might gently bring your right hand to your back leg, maybe bringing your left hand overhead. You might choose to pause here, or maybe adding some more movement, maybe bringing your left forearm to your upper left leg, right arm might come up overhead. Finding yourself pausing in one shape or the other, or maybe finding movement from one shape or the other. Coming to Warrior Two, if you'd like as well. And then in your own time, whenever you're ready, finding your Warrior Two if you're not already there. And if you'd like, straightening your front knee, maybe moving your upper body forward as far as you can until you can't any further, bringing that left hand down to your left leg, either resting gently on your left leg or on a block or book in front of your left leg. Keeping your core engaged so that there's minimal weight in your left hand, and then maybe reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze follows your right arm, or maybe it goes down to the floor. Finding a few moments in your triangle shape. And then in your own time, making your way back to standing. If you'd like, you can lower your hands down, finding the front of your mat, your mountain shape with both feet hip width apart. And making your way into tree shape on the other side. So maybe bringing all your weight to your left leg this time. Hands might start on your hips or maybe palms touching in front of your chest. And if you'd like, maybe bringing your right heel to rest against your left ankle. Maybe your right toes stay on the floor. If you'd like to try to balance, you might bring your right foot anywhere to rest on your left leg, above or below your knee joint. So above, below your knee or above your knee, not on your knee. Finding your balance and maybe finding an unmoving spot in front of you to focus your gaze on. If this balance feels okay for you and you want to move your arms, you can reach them up towards the ceiling to expand and grow your branches. Taking another moment or two in this shape. Again, relaxing your shoulders and upper body if you notice there's tension there. And then in your own time, lowering your arms and leg down, shaking that out one more time. We'll start to find our way back to the floor. So making your way there any way that feels right for you. If you would like, you can choose to roll into your forward fold. Maybe pausing here for a moment or two. You might choose to bring opposite hand to opposite elbow. Maybe choosing to bring your hands behind your ankles. Finding any movement or stillness you might like in this shape once more. And then making your way to the floor if you're not already there. Bringing one leg and the other. Finding your way to seated. Maybe bringing the bottoms of your feet together in front of your torso. And if you have two blocks or two books, you can choose to bring them underneath your knees in this shape. You can choose without as well. And you can experiment with how close or far away your legs are from your upper body. You might notice different sensations in your legs depending how close or far away they are from your upper body. If you'd like, you can take a moment to rock from side to side and maybe finding stillness whenever you're ready. One choice might be to stay here in stillness in your seated shape. Another choice might be to walk your hands forward, maybe finding stillness there, or possibly adding that movement where you're walking your hands forward and then back towards you in your own time. Allowing yourself to settle into this movement or stillness, whatever you chose for yourself. Taking another moment or two and maybe pausing or moving in this shape for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly making your way back to seated in your own time. If you'd like, you might bring your hands underneath your knees and bring them in towards each other, eventually extending your legs out in front of your body. Finding your staff shape, keeping your feet flexed, upper body and chest and head reaching up towards the ceiling. And then if you'd like, maybe reaching your arms up overhead, and then in your own time, finding your forward fold, maybe bringing your hands to rest on your upper or lower legs, or maybe you're able to reach for your toes, finding any place that's accessible in your body. And again, you can also add that movement back into the shape. Maybe you're walking your hands forward and back a few times. Maybe you're pausing in stillness in one shape or the other. And whenever you're ready, finding your way back to seated and slowly bringing yourself down to the floor. Letting yourself in your own time find your way to lie down on your back. And maybe bending your knees in this shape. You might bring your feet to rest on the floor. And if you'd like, you might bring your right ankle to rest on your upper left leg. One choice might be to stay in this shape. If you'd like, you can bring your hands behind your left leg, bringing your left leg up off the floor as well. Taking a few moments in either variation. Maybe adding some movement, rocking your hips from side to side if you'd like, or maybe not, finding what feels right in your body. And in your own time, coming back to center and slowly lowering one or both legs back down to the floor. Finding your way to the other side whenever you're ready, bringing your left ankle to rest on your right upper leg. Maybe choosing to stay here if you'd like. Another choice might be to bring your hands behind your right leg. Lifting your right leg up off the floor if you'd like. And you might choose to add some movement in this shape, maybe moving your hips from side to side, or maybe choosing to be still. Noticing if you'd like how your legs feel in this shape. Maybe there are some sensations in different parts of your legs that you're noticing. Maybe there are not. Allowing yourself to start to be aware of what your body is telling you. Finding your way back to center in your own time. And maybe slowly bringing one or both legs back to the floor, depending which variation you chose. And if you'd like, you can bring your knees into your chest, maybe rocking from side to side. Whenever you're ready, maybe rocking your legs over to the left side. Left leg is on the floor, right leg is on top. You might choose to bring your upper body to follow, or you might choose to move into a twist, maybe bringing your arms out on either side of your body if you'd like. If you don't have enough room, you can bend your elbows. And you can also choose to bring your gaze over your right shoulder, completing your twist, or choosing to lie on your left side. Taking a few moments in this shape. Maybe once again, noticing any sensations in your body. And whenever you're ready, slowly finding your way back to center. Maybe hugging your knees into your chest again. And if you'd like, you can start that rocking motion and then rocking yourself over to the right side in your own time, finding any way to get there. Right leg is on the floor, left leg is on top. Maybe bringing your upper body to follow, so you're resting on your right side, or if you'd like to move into your twist, extending your arms out on either side of your body in a T shape or with your elbows bent. And maybe bringing your gaze over your left shoulder. Finding what feels right in your body. Maybe noticing any sensations in your body in this side of the shape.
Maybe noticing your breath. And in your own time, finding your way back to center. Maybe once again, you might choose to hug your knees into your chest. If you'd like, you can rock from side to side. And whenever you're ready, making your way to your final resting shape. You might choose to keep your knees bent. You might choose to bring your legs long. You might choose to roll on your side or maybe stay lying on your back. If you have any props, feel free to use them. If you have a blanket or any cushions, you can bring it underneath your head. You can also bring a cushion or blanket underneath your knees to support the backs of your knees. That is one of my personal favorites. Or you can bring a blanket and cushions or blocks or books to the back of your mat so that your feet are elevated off the floor. So finding any variation of what I mentioned, allowing yourself to find anything that's different than what I mentioned, and allowing yourself to feel supported in your final resting shape. Experimenting with your props if you have a lot of them. And whenever you're ready, allowing yourself to rest, allowing yourself to let go of that movement from our class. If you'd like, you can close your eyes or keep a soft gaze in front of you. If you'd like, you can continue moving in your rest shape. Finding what feels right in your body. And maybe as we did at the beginning of class, if you'd like to notice your breath once more. If you'd like, you can notice how your body is resting. Maybe it feels the same or a little different from the beginning of class. If you'd like, you can find anything else that might be useful or nourishing to you in the last few minutes of our class today. Again, you can close your eyes, or you might keep a soft gaze in front of you. You might choose to notice your breathing, maybe choosing to notice your body, being aware of any aches or pains or sensations or anything that you might be noticing in your body. Maybe noticing what your mind is doing, if it has a lot to say, or maybe it has quieted down a little bit after your yoga practice. Finding what might show up for you in the last few minutes of our class this afternoon. And I'll be quiet for the next minute. And feel free to use that minute in any way you might like. In your own time, whenever you're ready, maybe slowly starting to bring some movement back into your body. You might choose to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Another choice might be to move your wrists and ankles in circles. And the third choice might be to bring your arms up overhead for a full body stretch. I am running out of room in my apartment, but feel free to stretch and reach your arms and legs out as far and wide as feels right in your body. Allowing for any other stretch that you feel you might want or need in this moment as you come back into the space. And if you'd like, you can choose to roll to one side, maybe taking a few moments in that space before making your way in your own time to seated. Whenever you're ready, you might choose to find your way back to a seated shape in your own time, finding any seated shape that you prefer. And then if you'd like, maybe bringing your palms together in front of your chest. May the light within me honor the light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me for this evening's class. My name is Kristin O'Donnell, and Marshmallow and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.